favorite stage. The mahogany-paneled private room at Bernardin buzzed with the chatter of New York's elite attorneys as she, Sharon Morrison, named partner and queen of corporate law, prepared her yearly address. Another record year, she beamed, champagne flute raised. Our firm has handled mergers totaling over $50 billion. Her perfectly tailored Chanel suit matched her perfectly practiced smile. Though success isn't guaranteed for everyone. Her eyes landed on me, sitting quietly at the far end of the table. I took a small sip of water, checking my phone discreetly. My daughter Sarah, she continued, her voice dripping with practiced concern, is still between opportunities. Can't even get hired, poor thing. Despite her Harvard law degree. The partners exchanged knowing looks. After all, Sharon Morrison's unemployed daughter was a favorite topic of gossip. Have you tried the public defender's office? Margaret Wells, my mother's co-partner, asked with fake sympathy. They're always hiring. I checked another message on my phone. Final signatures confirmed. Transfer complete. Sarah's been sending out applications, Mom continued as if I wasn't there. But you know how it is. Not everyone has what it takes for corporate law. Or any law, someone muttered, generating polite chuckles. I glanced at my watch. 3 minutes. Perhaps if she'd accepted our summer associate position, Mom sighed, instead of wasting time with that little, what was it, dear? Legal tech startup. Global Legal Solutions, I said quietly, watching the time. Ah yes, another failed startup. Mom shook her head. You know, Sarah, it's not too late to let me make some calls. Even a junior position at a smaller firm. My phone vibrated. Stock transfer complete. Announcement ready. Actually, I said, standing slowly, I have an announcement about Global Legal Solutions. Mom's smile tightened. Sarah, please. Not another startup pitch. These are serious attorneys here. Oh, this is very serious, I replied, just as her secretary burst through the door, face pale. Ms. Morrison. The global merger. It's complete. But something's wrong. The ownership. What about it? Mom snapped, annoyed at the interruption. All the shares, her secretary stammered. They've been transferred to Global Legal Solutions. The room went silent. Mom's champagne glass froze halfway to her lips. That's right, I said, pulling out my tablet. Global Legal Solutions now owns controlling interest in Morrison and Wells Law, along with its 12 international offices. That's impossible, Mom whispered. We're a private firm. Our shares aren't available on the open market? I smiled. You should really read the fine print in those merger documents you signed last month. The annual partners' dinner at Morrison and Wells Law was my mother's favorite stage. The mahogany-paneled private room at Bernardin hummed with self-importance as 50 of New York's most elite attorneys gathered to celebrate their billions. Another remarkable year, Mom announced, her Chanel suit as crisp as her tone. Morrison and Wells has handled over $50 billion in mergers, expanded to 3 new countries and added 15 equity partners. Her eyes found me at the far end of the table. Though not everyone understands the value of hard work and tradition. I sat quietly, picking at my untouched foie gras, feeling the weight of judging glances. The black sheep daughter who couldn't even land an associate position. Why Sarah, she continued, voice dripping with practiced concern, is still between opportunities. Can't even get hired, poor thing. Despite her Harvard law degree. Margaret Wells, Mom's co-partner of 30 years, patted my hand with fake sympathy. Have you tried the public defender's office, dear? They're always hiring. Sharon, Dad spoke up from his seat beside Mom. As the firm's senior tax partner, he felt obligated to defend me. Sometimes. Perhaps this isn't the time. Oh, but it is, Mom pressed on, warming to her favorite topic. We must discuss succession planning. Margaret's daughter just made partner at Goldman's legal department. The Peterson twins are clerking for the Supreme Court. And my Sarah. She sighed dramatically. Can't even get past a first interview. The partners murmured in agreement. After all, what could be more embarrassing than a top lawyer's unemployed daughter? Still sending out those applications? Tom Davidson, M&A partner, asked with a smirk. My secretary's cousin needs help with traffic court cases. I checked my phone discreetly. Final signatures confirmed. Transfer complete. If she'd just accepted our summer associate position, Mom continued as if I wasn't there. Instead of wasting time with that little, what was it again, dear? Legal tech startup. Global Legal Solutions, I said quietly, watching the time. Ah yes, another failed startup. Mom's laugh tinkled like expensive crystal. You know what they say about the third time? Though this is what, attempt number 5? 6 actually, Margaret Wells added helpfully. Remember that blockchain legal service thing last year? Complete disaster. I took a small sip of water, letting their laughter wash over me. My phone buzzed again. Stock transfer complete. All subsidiaries confirmed. Sarah, honey, Mom leaned forward, her voice carrying to every corner of the room. It's time to face reality. Not everyone is cut out for real legal work. Even with a Harvard degree, some people just lack that essential quality. That killer instinct. Speaking of killer instincts, I said softly, standing up. I have an announcement about Global Legal Solutions. Mom's perfect smile tightened. Sarah, please. Not another startup pitch. These are serious attorneys here. Oh, this is very serious, I replied, just as her secretary burst through the door, face ghost white. Ms. Morrison. The global merger. It's complete. But something's wrong. The ownership. What about it? Mom snapped, annoyed at the interruption of her moment. All the shares, her secretary stammered. They've been transferred to Global Legal Solutions. The room went deadly quiet. Mom's champagne glass froze halfway to her perfectly painted lips. That's right, I said, pulling out my tablet. Global Legal Solutions now owns controlling interest in Morrison Wells Law. Along with its 12 international offices, 30 subsidiary firms and, I paused for effect, all partner voting rights. That's impossible, Mom whispered. We're a private firm. Our shares aren't available on the open market? I smiled, savoring the moment. You should really read the fine print in those merger documents you signed last month. The ones you were too busy to review personally because what was it? Some things are beneath a named partner's attention. Mom's perfect composure cracked as she grabbed the tablet from her secretary. This can't. We have safeguards. The partnership agreement was amended last month. I finished smoothly. Remember that routine update you all signed? The one that modified share transfer restrictions. I drafted that. Margaret Wells sputtered. It was just standard boilerplate for the Asian expansion. With a lovely loophole regarding tech company acquisitions. I smiled. You really should have let me join the firm, Mom. I actually read the fine print. Dad was frantically scrolling through documents on his phone. The subsidiary transfers. The offshore accounts. All now under Global Legal Solutions control, I confirmed. Along with the partner profit shares, client lists, and trust accounts. The room erupted in chaos as 50 of New York's top lawyers simultaneously realized they'd been outmaneuvered. My mother's face had gone from cream to ash. But your startup failed, she whispered. The blockchain project, the legal AI. We're all part of Global Legal Solutions, I said, pulling up a presentation on the room's screen. That failed blockchain project now handles legal document verification for 3 major governments. The disaster AI system, currently processing cases for the European Union. Impossible, Margaret Wells breathed. That would require billions in funding. 12 billion to be exact, I replied. Remember that Chinese investment firm you refused to meet with last year, Mom? Because Asian investors don't understand real law firms? They understood me just fine. Mom grabbed her phone, probably to call her lawyers. I couldn't help but laugh. Looking for Stevenson and Brown? Their outside counsel? Check their ownership records from this morning. No, she whispered. Global Legal Solutions acquired them last week. I confirmed. Along with your backup counsel and their backup counsel. Amazing what good lawyers can do when they're properly motivated. Sarah, Dad tried, his tax lawyer brain finally catching up. The regulatory implications are all handled, I cut in. Unlike some people, I actually learned from watching you work. Every transfer, every acquisition completely legal. You taught me well, Mom. Always have ironclad documentation. The partners were now huddled in panicked groups, phones out, desperately calling their personal attorneys. I let them scramble for a moment before dropping the next bomb. "Oh, and those golden parachute clauses you all added to your contracts last year?" I smiled. "They only apply to traditional corporate takeovers. Tech company acquisitions are specifically excluded." Page 247, paragraph 3, subsection C. "You can't." Mom started. "Fire you." I raised an eyebrow. "Actually, I can. Effective immediately. Though I'm willing to offer you a position more suited to your, what did you call it? Essential qualities." "What position?" she asked, voice barely audible. I pulled up the organizational chart on the screen. "Junior associate. Starting salary $40,000 a year. Though you'll have to interview for it. If you can get past the first round." The room went completely silent. 50 legal titans watched as their world turned upside down. "Your office needs to be cleared by tomorrow," I continued. "The senior partner suite is being renovated for global legal solutions expansion." "When, Mom? That partner dinner speech you give every year? I'll be handling that from now on." The next morning I sat in my mother's former office, now mine, watching the chaos unfold through the floor-to-ceiling windows of the 50th floor. Former partners hurried past, boxes in hand, as security supervised their exit. "Ms. Morrison, I mean Miss Carter," my mother's former secretary, now mine, entered nervously. "Your parents are here." Third time this morning. I glanced at the security feed showing them in the lobby. Mom had traded her Chanel suit for last season's Prada, her humble outfit. Dad clutched a thick folder of legal documents. "Send them up," I said, turning to face the Manhattan skyline. "And Janet?" "It's still Ms. Morrison." I kept my mother's name to make this moment sweeter. They walked into the office Mom ruled for 20 years. Now it was mine. "The Bar Association won't allow this," Mom said. "Handled," I replied. "We own their meeting building. They won't resist." "Sarah, please." Dad held up papers. "Let us stay as consultants." "Like you let me stay as an intern?" I turned to face them. "You fired me in 2 days." Mom sat pale. "We wanted to toughen you up." "Congrats." It worked. My phone buzzed. "London secured, Asia secured, partners locked out." "They'll sue," Dad tried. "With what money?" I asked. "Their accounts are frozen." Mom's voice shook. "The clients won't stay. I already called them. They prefer me, not people still using fax." My tablet chimed. "The Supreme Court just accepted our blockchain brief." Mom finally whispered, "What do you want?" "Money." "A name." "I already have it. The question is, what do you want? Right now you're unemployed. Even Harvard can't save you." Dad slumped. His folder fell. "Your staff speech," he said softly. "Why now?" I cut in. "Minus the insults." My phone buzzed again. The governor wanted a call. I stood, smoothing my Chanel suit. "Security will show you out," I said. I shredded their folder. "We don't hire legacies anymore." They left. Partners carried boxes out of the building. My secretary entered.